Water is a vital resource for the people of the Rio Grande Valley, for our communities, and for our economy. Lakes, the Rio Grande River, and other waterways provide an important source of drinking water. Surface waters provide opportunities for recreation like boating, fishing, and swimming. Surface waters also provide essential habitat for fish and wildlife. Clean water for drinking, recreation, and habitat is a major factor in a community's quality of life. It's a resource that requires protection from what has become a very common source of water pollution. The subject of water quality does not make the headlines as often as it did in the past. Our rivers and waterways were once regarded as open sewers with often disastrous results. Since Congress passed the Clean Water Act in 1972, we have made dramatic improvements in the quality of our waterways nationwide. Most of the advances are due to improved sewage treatment facilities and tighter controls of industrial discharges. Despite the successes in controlling these point sources of pollution, water quality problems still exist. According to a recent National Water Quality Inventory, about 45% of assessed lakes, ponds, and reservoir acres, and about 39% of assessed river and stream miles have water quality problems. Many of the remaining water quality problems are caused by more dispersed sources of pollution. These sources of water pollution are generated by many common human activities, such as transportation, construction, agriculture, and landscape maintenance. The pollutants are usually transported overland by stormwater runoff before entering the surface waters at many different locations. Simply put, stormwater runoff is rain that does not soak into the ground. It's a natural process. However, converting land from an undisturbed condition to a developed state impacts the amount and quality of stormwater that runs off the land. Rainwater that would have originally soaked into the ground now becomes stormwater runoff after falling on roads, rooftops, and parking lots. The increase in stormwater flows can cause downstream flooding and stream bank erosion. But that's not the only problem. Runoff from developed areas also collects pollutants, transporting them to our resacas, arroyos, rivers, and lakes. Oil and grease, metal, and grit are washed off of roads and parking lots. Pesticides, herbicides are picked up from lawns and landscaped areas. Sediment and debris are carried off of construction sites. Pathogens from sanitary sewer overflows, failed septic tank systems, and pet waste also enter the storm drain system, unlike sewage, which is collected and treated. Contaminated stormwater runoff usually enters our waterways without any treatment. The effects of pollutants in stormwater can impact local governments, water utilities, and residents. Runoff often carries sediment that settles out in slow-moving sections of the waterways and winds up in our reservoirs, reducing storage capacity. Dredging to remove accumulated sediment is disruptive and costly. Pollutants washed from parking lots, roads, and lawns contaminate drinking water supplies, requiring more extensive and costly treatment. Water quality and habitat degradation affects the health of fish and wildlife, and in some cases leads to fishing bans and beach closures, disrupting popular forms of recreation. In response to the problems associated with stormwater runoff nationwide, Congress modified the Clean Water Act in 1987, and they established a phased permitting program to control stormwater pollution. Phase 1 regulations were published by the Environmental Protection Agency in 1990. Phase 1 regulates municipalities with populations over 100,000 in 1990, construction sites disturbing more than 5 acres, and many industrial activities. Phase 2 regulations, published in 1999, regulate smaller municipalities, primarily in urbanized areas as defined by the census. Construction sites disturbing 1 to 5 acres, and in some cases construction sites less than 1 acre. Cities with populations over 10,000 that are not located within an urbanized area may also be considered for inclusion in the Phase 2 permitting process by state and other permitting authorities. The municipal stormwater regulations require identified cities, counties, or other entities to develop, implement, and enforce a comprehensive stormwater management program. This program must be designed to reduce pollutants on discharges from their storm drain systems to the maximum extent practical, and to effectively prohibit discharges other than stormwater from entering their systems. Smaller municipalities and others covered under the Phase 2 municipal rules must implement the Phase 2 regulations under 6 program elements. These program elements, or minimum control measures as they are referred to in the regulations, consist of educating the public on stormwater quality impacts and what they can do to help, involving the public in the development of the stormwater management program and its implementation, detecting and eliminating illicit discharges which address improper disposal of wastewater, used oil, and other materials into the storm drain systems, controlling construction site runoff to prevent soil and other possible pollutants from construction sites from harming local waterways, managing stormwater impacts caused from development so that the development taking place today does not cause water quality problems in the future, and preventing pollution from municipal operations so that the municipality's own facilities and practices do not degrade local water quality. Managing stormwater can be a substantial undertaking for cities and counties affected by the Phase 2 regulations, requiring participation of multiple municipal departments and the involvement of businesses, the development community, civic groups, and the general public. Learning from and cooperating with neighboring communities can be helpful in creating and implementing a more effective, successful, and less costly program. The Lower Rio Grande Valley TPDES Stormwater Task Force was formed in 2001 and has worked together for 10 years to develop a successful regional stormwater management program. The task force works closely with Texas A&M University Kingsville Environmental Engineering in implementing the program. The task force is an outstanding example of neighboring communities coming together to develop regional solutions to regional concerns. Protecting our lakes, resacas, arroyos, our waterways, the Laguna Madre, the Arroyo Colorado, and the Rio Grande River in order to provide safe drinking water, recreational opportunities, sustainable economies, and healthy ecosystems is a shared responsibility. Combined efforts at all levels of governments, within local communities and by individual citizens, will all be necessary to ensure that our valuable water resources are protected today and into the future.